Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to cover two topics, and by this video we would be completing our very basics of HTML. In the next video we'll start about a simple project around 1 hour of where we develop our very own very unique web page, which will be in the next video. But in today's video we are going to complete tables, which is a very small topic. It might be needed when you want to represent data like this of a company, and it is a required skill if it's a needed skill if you're working with where you want to display the data in a form of tables or in the form of tabulation. So tables allows the user to arrange the data in rows and columns. Each tag starts and ends with a table. So this is how table tag works. First you have a table tag where the table starts. Next you have a table row which defines the table row. Next, for that we have two types of options to fill in. One is the heading and one is the data. So let's have a quick hands-on session on this to understand tables. So let me come back to Visual Studio Code and let me create a table.html file. Okay, once opening this, let's do the boiler code drill and let me just rename it as table. So over here I tried to replicate this table, and let's start off. As you can see, there is a basic HTML table, SN branch section 1, 2, CSE, EC, A and B. So let me just break it down. This would be a heading because it's bold and highlighted. H1, it says basic, basic HTML table. Okay, and then here is where our table starts. In that, as mentioned, first we need to create a row. Inside a row we have headings. One is S number, another th called branch, another th called as S number, branch, I guess section. Was it section? Yeah. Okay. As always, let me just open this in so I know what I'm doing. Sorry, over here. Yeah. Okay. Now let me fill and let me just make another row. Inside that, let me put data for that. So what is the difference between TD and TH is that TH, the headings are much bolder and center aligned compared to the TD or the data elements. So I just show you that. So TD and 1 TD CHC branch computer science and education, computer science engineering, TD and let's say A, section A. Now let me just copy paste this part again over here. Let me just name it to 2, and here it would be E, and this is section B. So this is how our table looks. Let me just add a border so that it looks more like a table. Over here, let me just add a border equals to 1. Okay, now it looks more like a table, right? So this is how you can develop or you can make your tables. It is important. It can be used in various ways in which how you can represent data. So this was about tables. You can always refer W3 schools where you can find a lot about tables over here on different types and how to make the tables look prettier and better. The borders, size, headers, padding. Oh, and this is another important thing: column span and row span. Suppose you want a column span and the row span in such a way, you can use column span to name like this. Suppose this is how the name is a little bit larger and it has a first name, last name. This is how you're going to use column span, and this is a row span over here. So these are a few things which you can read, and there is about styling your page on how you can make it look better by applying colors to specific pages or specific columns over here. One, it's very difficult to explain each and every form of styling, so I would suggest you to, whenever the need arises, to come to W3 Schools and have a look on what you want. So that would be very much helpful. So guys, we are done with tables. Now this is one topic. After covering this, we would have been completed the basic of HTML so soon. Yep, we have completed all the basics of HTML and we are ready to go with our new language or new topic, that is CSS. Before going to that, I would like to uh, make a small project with you guys. It's like a very small mini project, basics on what all you have learned of HTML. So once we are done with that, we would be heading on to CSS. So once we're done with that, you can wish yourself congratulations and tap yourself on the back that we have covered HTML in such a short period of time. Now this topic is going to end up until the very last of your course, that is HTML forms. HTML forms is basically how you're going to take in the user input or how you're going to make changes to your web page depending on the user input. So this is going to stay from now until the very end of the course. So have a note and please make sure you understand this topic very clearly. So what are forms? Forms are used to collect data from the user. The user input is often sent to the server for processing. The form element is used to create the forms for the user. It is a container of different elements, text field, text boxes, radio buttons, etc. These are on what depends on what type of input you want to take. So let's start running them. So this is how you declare, or this is how you're going to use a form input type. There is an input text, there is an input type radio, there is an input type checkbox, there is an input type submit, and input type button. And the label tag for all these inputs, we'll be learning them with a hands-on session. So let me start from here. Let us say that I want to create a login form or the login page for my web page. So you guys remember the web page we were creating last time, right? So let me just let me just move this and let me just open the index.html which we had created last time. Okay, so I want to create a login page for our web page. So how do I do that? So I just create a new HTML file over here saying it's login.html, and let's do the boilerplate code, make it as login. Okay, now let's start working on it. Now let's start working over here. Starting off, let's give a heading. Let's say log in this, and then let's start off with understanding this. We need to input a few things. Let's say we want to input the username. So how do we do that? So let's say a form over here, and let's say, okay, I was saying about labels, right? So as input type doesn't actually show up as anything else, it's important that we use a label for each and everything. So let's say label for f name, that is first name, plus f name, and let me just take the input type text and close it over here. So as you can see over here, as soon as I come, it has created a, let me just make it better for you guys. Okay, this now, yeah. So as you can see, it has created a text box where I can enter things. For now, it's not going to do anything if I hit enter, because I have not linked any form of server or anything else. But as we learn about JavaScript in the later videos, I will be showing you how you can process this information and how we'll be ready to make a very good page in which you can store information and kind of make changes to it. Okay, after the first name we would be needing the last name. So let me just put a break. You guys remember BR, right? That stands for break in the line, and let me just put a label for that. Label for equals to, let's keep it, last name. Last name, first name, and let me just put in this thing over here. Okay, now we got two spaces over here. We're going to the first name, the last name, and let me just give another BR so it looks better. Yeah, as you can see over here. Now, if the first name and last name being done, let's say you're asking the user for his phone number. So another BR. I use a label for equals phone number, and let me just close, and let's say phone number, and let's take the input, and let me just number, id is number. Okay, now over here, as you can see, if I try like over here I can enter the number, and there is an option where you can increase and decrease the number. This now what else could you think? Yeah, we could take in an email ID. Let's do that. Let me just copy this so it is easier, like this, and make it email over here as well as email. And let me just make this as email too. So here, as you can see over here, you can start putting your email addresses. Let's say a@gmail.com, etc. Let's say you want the user to have something over here, like the user gets a very vague idea about what to fill. So that also is possible by putting value equals Joe, as you have seen in most web pages. So here you can see that you have Joe over here. Once the user clicks on this, he can delete that and type his own things. Or instead of making it a value, a better way would be using placeholders. Okay, a placeholder, and make it as Joe. As you can see now, as soon as the user clicks on this, Joe would always be there, but the user knows what he or she has to do in this particular form. Okay, now we learnt about creating first name or taking text input, taking phone numbers, taking email input. So let's see what all we have got. So we are done with this. Okay, this is important. Let's say we are asking for what is the gender. Okay, there are many types of uh, gender, but let's say we are asking basic genders for right now. We have two options, that is male and a female. Let me just, okay, over here. Let me just copy this part of the code. Okay, let me just type and show you, so it's better you understand each and everything. Okay, so now I want to take the input in the form of radio buttons. So let me take the input over here. So input type radio. Okay, let me just give a BR over here so it looks neat. Another BR. Okay, and let me just put in a label over here saying label, enter your, okay, choose your gender. And let me just put a BR. As you can see, as I mic changes over here, you can see over here. Okay, so let me just try to give you understanding of this code. The input type is the radio button, the ID is male, the name is gender, the value is male, label for that would be male. Similarly, the input type is equals to radio, ID is female, the name, make sure that the name in both is same, or else let's say suppose I just make it as something else, and over here if I do this, the user can set both male and female, which doesn't make sense. So always when you're keeping the name, make sure that both of them are the same. Okay, so we have learned about radio buttons. Let's see what we got next. Next we have checkboxes. What are checkboxes? Let's say in a web page, or you're designing a page where the user is made to select between different types of cars, or what are vehicles does he have. So this is important, and let's try to understand this code as well. Let me just put it over here. Let's understand the part of code. Okay, from here let me just put a p tag so that we know here it starts. Let's say choose your vehicle. Okay, let's start to understand this part of code. All the code are very simple and easy, and the only thing which varies in most of them is in the input type, and rest all would always be the same. So it starts with input type equals checkbox, ID is equals to vehicle, name is equals to vehicle, value is equals to bike. So type is checkbox, ID is vehicle. So to make this box appear, we have to put in the type as checkbox, the ID as vehicle 1, the name as vehicle, and value is bike. Similarly, for that I need a label that says that I have a bike. So the label for vehicle 1 is I have a bike. Similarly, let's say I want to do this for this. So first let's create the input type. Input is a checkbox and the ID is vehicle 2, the name is vehicle 2, and the value is of a car. So what is the purpose of this value? So once we learn about the backend processing, or once you start learning about backend processing, this is the value which is going to be passed to the server for processing. That's why the value is important. So we have learned about checkboxes. Let's go ahead. And once all of this is done, you have to submit it, right? You've always seen the login or sign in button. So that is implemented by this. That is input type is equal to submit. At the end of all of this, let me just put it over here, which says input. Like this, and let me just put a BR so that it looks neat and clean. Over here we have a submit button. So here we have a first name, last name, phone number, email, choose your gender, choose your vehicle. So as you can see, our login page with extra initial information is being created. for understanding of our topics. Now the submitted data is allowed in this particular manner. Okay, we are not taken the very important thing. What is that, guys? See, in login page, we have to consider another very important thing which you have missed. That is the passwords. So passwords are very, very important, and here is the way in which you can take that. So let's say I don't know how to take in the password. So what I do, I just take a label and put it as passwords. Now I'm wondering how to take the input. So what is a normal person do? Input. You try type, which is all same, and let's try password. Does it work? Let's see. Over here you have a way where you can enter passwords. Automatically these appear as like masked digits so that no one around you can check your passwords, which is a very helpful feature. So here's a login page. Okay, let's check on what is the next thing we would be taking. Now we have different types of inputs, that email, URL, range, submit, reset. All of them you can obviously go through. I have given a very nice example where you can create this type of a login page. The code is in the script, or the code is in the document. I'll make it available to you guys. So once you have gone through this, it's basically all the same. You just type in input type is equals to URL, name is equals to URL, and ID is equals to URL. So instead of like putting input type is where most of the changes occur. So have a look on this and try to create this type of website. So as you can spot, there is a label over here, and there is an input, a label and input. This is called a text area, not a text box. I'll just show you what it is in a very quick manner, so that let's say I just create a label meaning text box, and let me just type input type is equals to text box, and let's say column is equals to 5, this, and okay, rows and columns both need to be mentioned. And over here I'm going to just make it as text area instead of text box, text area, and let me put it as this, like this. Okay, I guess I made a small mistake somewhere. So text area opens here, type as text box. Okay, let me just try removing this and closing the text area. Looks like I have committed a small error somewhere. It is text area, the rows is 4, and it's over here. It is basically doing some kind of, okay, here let me just put a BR. Yeah, now it looks more better. And let me just make it a little bit even better. Let me just put a BR, another BR, like this, and one BR over here. Okay, so this is how you put in a text box for the user to enter a little bit. Let's say the user wants to enter a paragraph about why he wants to join a company, or let's say the user wants to provide comments or some sort. So that would be helpful. And next we'll be heading on with this, and you can create your menu over here. And next, using field set legends. These two topics are not that much necessary. I'll be giving you a brief example on them. Let's say you want to use a field set and legend. I'll just show you to W3 schools and show you how a field set and legend works. The name itself suggests how they are. They are very common topics, so knowing about them is very good and necessary. So let's say I want to create it same like our login page but with very little information. So let's say I want this box to appear over my login page and I want to sit over here. So how I start off with a field set over here, field set, and then say like this over here, and let's say field set, and I'm going to put in the legend. So let me just copy this so that you will understand what I mean by the same thing. Instead of making it appear as login, let's put the entire thing over here like this. And let me just remove this and put login over here. So this is how you can use field set and legend in your web page to make it look more what do you say, that's more attractive to the user. We will be learning CSS and making it even more attractive, but for now this is how you're going to use a legend and a field set. Okay, let's come to our next topic. Okay, I might be going a little bit too quick. If at all you feel that the video is a little bit too fast, you can watch it at a lower pace, and if you feel that I'm going a little bit too slow, you can obviously watch it at a higher pace. There is an option of 1.5 2x, and there is also an option of 0.5 and 0.75. Okay, now the fun part. Let's say you want the user to be able to play videos, or you want the users to be able to play audio clips on their web page. So how do you do that? It is very important. It is very necessary. Like you're making a, let's say you're building the next YouTube and you want your audio to be heard, or you want your video to be rendered. So that is done by two tags, the audio tag and the video tag. We'll be learning about both of them in this thing. So let's say I want to add in an audio file over here. Let me just close all of this and come down over here and say audio like this audio, and you're going to follow with attributes. Here is a quick example. So let me just put audio controls equals control. So why is this audio controls equals controls? As you can see, it's already started to form a few things over here. Let me just put in a break and break. Yeah, now it works fine. Do not close the field set tag. Now as you can see, we have got a play button. Now once I add any form of audio by using the source src in this manner, currently let's just try over here. So that is how you can play a song or a audio clip from your place. So you can remove this controls ka part. If you remove this controls, the user won't be able to control that, and audio would automatically start playing on its own. That might be not that welcoming for a user, but that is one way in which you can handle things. Similarly, you can do it for making it play videos as well. The command is the same, or the tag is the same. You can, yeah, now this is an example where I can show. So the I'm going to start off with video. Width is equals to and height is equals to, and controls is controls, preload, controls, and play. This is how you're going to make your video. So let me just show you that. I am going to basically make a video tag, close it over here, and I'm going to write source, and make it like this. So as you can see, these are the way in which you can represent audio and video tags. I guess it's not able to render because of some reasons. No worries, in the next video I'll keep 2 videos and audio files ready in advance that we can come back to this topic. Any more topics left for you guys? Okay, congratulations, you have officially completed all the basics of HTML you would be requiring. Any other response or any other further topics which I would have left out, we would be covering it in the further sections of CSS and JavaScript or Bootstrap. It may be topics like class IDs, which I have not touched upon too much, because you would be learning it again and again in CSS and JavaScript. So it's better I teach them then rather than teaching it now, and you keep like remembering the same topic and again. So it's better I teach you doing CSS for now. Congratulations on making it up to this part. We have completed all the basics of HTML. In the next video, we are going to start off with a very simple and unique project where we are going to cover all the topics which we have learned in the HTML sections up until now, and we are going to make a very attractive, responsive, amazing web page in the next video. So thank you guys. See you then.